Hi, so today I want to talk about logical reasoning in CLAT. A lot of students have had difficulty with approaching the logic portion, and it's a very easy scoring portion, but somehow people manage to lose a lot of time and marks on this portion. So I wanted to make a video to just give you a brief idea on how to go about it. Uh, these questions you see, they just appear to be hard. Once you get some basic concepts correct, you will be able to do them very easily. So let's start with a basic guide to logical reasoning. So the first thing when you come to reasoning is that you have to divide it between knowns and unknowns, right? The premises are the knowns, like they are given in the question or they're implied by the question, while the inferences are the unknowns, which you have to apply the logic. This computing portion here is your logic, and you'll have to arrive at these conclusions, which are inferences. So your knowns are the premises to which you have to apply logic and then come to the conclusions. So this is all you have to do. You just have to divide the questions into knowns and unknowns. I mean, this basic step, if you get, you will be able to score well in logic. So how you apply logic, there's just two kinds of logic, right? First, the deductive logic. That is to say that, I mean, from this example, so all dogs have four legs. Timmy is a dog, so Timmy has four legs. So in deductive logic, the only thing you need to remember is that you reach a definite conclusion. You reach a conclusion. You have an answer at the end of deductive reasoning, right? You can be sure that this is there at the end of deductive reasoning, like in and the opposite of deductive reasoning is inductive reasoning. So for inductive reasoning, your logic, I mean your knowns would be somewhat like this: Lonnie is a cat, Lonnie is black. But your so you apply your logic to these two knowns. The sentence 1 and sentence 2 are the knowns, and the sentence 3 is the unknown. So in sentence 1 and 2, you take them together and then you apply a logic, and but you are not getting a conclusion yet. So all cats may or may not be black, right? So just because one cat is black, we don't know what the color of other cats are. So we cannot say anything definitive. So what you can be sure is actually what you this is wrong. There is no definite conclusion about all cats, but what you can be sure is something like some cats are black. Why? Because Lonnie is black and Lonnie is a cat, so some cats definitely have to be black. So this is something you can come up with based on inductive reasoning. So anything which requires you to come up with something definitive, like everything is this or no one is this, that is deductive reasoning. But wherever there is scope for probability, something like some people are these or he may or may not be these, then that become inductive reasoning, right? So that's it. That's all the theory we need to solve logic questions in CLAT. So let's look at these three steps to solving logic questions in CLAT. The first is that dividing the question into knowns and unknowns, right? So all you have to do first is segregate your knowns and unknowns. So don't try to come to conclusions the minute you see the question. That is a very wrong practice. First, you basically note down everything you know about the question, right? You can either represent this pictorially or mathematically, but you note down everything you know about the question. And then you move on to eliminate options rather than solving them, right? So I mean, the best way of solving logic questions is eliminating options. So this is a slight clash with my video on time management, right? But we will see why it's not an issue. Let's go to the examples and then we can see why it's a non-issue, right? So this is a 2013 CLAT paper. There's a GK portion, there's a logic portion. So I'd like to do this question, right? Yeah, let's do this question. So in this question, what we have is 6 elected ministers and there are 5 portfolios, right? So the elected ministers are, let's look at the elected minister. The elected ministers are P, Q, R, S, T. right? And the portfolios are foreign, industry and commerce, agriculture, rural development, and human rights. One, two, one, two, three, four, five. All right. So rural development and human rights are different, right? All right. So let's do this. One, two, three, four, five. Yeah. So you have five portfolios between six ministers, and the portfolios are the foreign, right? Second is industry and commerce. Third is agriculture. Fourth is rural development. And fifth is human resources, right? RSTU. There are six people. All right. So now let's look at the conditions. U does not want any portfolio if at S gets one of the five, right? So any option which is S and U together, we can eliminate that option, right? So S cannot be with U. I mean, don't start eliminating the options now. We'll come to that. The second is R either wants foreign or HR. So R wants either foreign or HR, right? Or it does not want any portfolio, right? So Q says if S gets industry and commerce or rural development, she must get the other one. All right. So this is slightly complicated. So we would not list this. We'll just write here as there's a condition, right? We'll write this that there's a condition. And T insists on a portfolio if P gets one. So T and P have to be together, right? So now let's start eliminating the options. So let's start with the simplest one, right? So S and U cannot be together because here it says U does not want any portfolio. So wait, let me list the options here. A, B, C, D. All right. So S and U cannot be together. So here S and U are together. So option C is gone, right? Then let's look at the next one. It says R wants foreign or HR or no portfolio. So anywhere where, so here R has agriculture. So A is gone, right? B, R has foreign. So that's fine. C, R has, C, R is not there, but oh, C is already eliminated. Sorry. D, R has rural development, but that also is different. So we have gotten our answer just using two options, right? I mean, some questions. So now you may think, why didn't we just start eliminating after the first condition? It just becomes a little problematic if you don't read through all the conditions, because sometimes there might be some qualification here which will modify the condition here. So it's best to go through all the conditions once before you start eliminating, right? So let's just, so our answer is B. Let's just match it to other conditions. So some one other condition. So wait, S and U do not have it together. That's fine. R has foreign, so that's fine. Then we have, so P and T must get it together, right? So P has it, T has it. That's fine, right? So then Q says if S gets industry or rural development, she must get the other one. So S has got industry and commerce, and Q has got rural development. So that is also fine. So B is meeting all our requirements, right? So let's go to question 115, which is the next part to this question. So if P gets, wait, let me just clear this. Sorry. Yeah. So the next part of this question is if P gets foreign and R gets HR. Actually, I shouldn't have cleared that. But nah, it's gone. Sorry. So if P gets foreign, R gets HR. Alright. Then which is not a valid assignment of agriculture and rural development? So agriculture, rural development. There's another one, right? Yeah, industry and commerce. Commerce. Alright. So we know S and U cannot be together and P is getting foreign, so T has to be there, right? No, actually, just talking about 2. Yes, we're just talking about 2. So we cannot eliminate here. Which is not a valid assignment, alright? So I think there was this condition, yeah, here. Actually, let's list the conditions again. I'm sorry I deleted them. So we'll quickly list them. S cannot be with U, R wants F or HR, right? Q wants Q or S should get I and C or R and D if one gets the other, right? I and C. If S gets either, then the Q should get the other one, and then P should get one if T is there. So these are our conditions. Now let's just apply them. So here, so let's, I think the easiest will be this condition, right? I mean, you can apply all conditions, but you see, since one entire person and his ministry is missing, so conditions like these are not very relevant because we don't know who the last person is going to be, and this has already been satisfied. That just leaves us with this. So any condition which violates this cannot be a valid assignment. So if S gets industry and commerce and R gets or rural development, Q must get the other. So S here is getting rural development, so Q must get industry and commerce, but Q is getting agriculture, so the correct answer is D. So this is why I said don't go about eliminating, because seeing questions like these will be very difficult to eliminate. You'll just get the right answer much easier. So T is the right answer. So you've dealt with this kind of questions, right? But I also want to deal with the other kind of questions just to give you an idea of how easy it is if you go by knowns and unknowns. I'm leaving these set of questions because they're more English questions than logic questions, I mean, in my opinion. Let's do this one, right? So Mona is the daughter of Sheila. Let's Sheila, daughter Mona. Yeah, we're pictorially representing it. We are just listing out whatever is known to us pictorially. Right? Then we'll come to conclusions afterward. Sheila is the wife of my wife's brother. So you are say I. So my wife, brother. So his brother's wife equals to Sheila. Get it? Yeah. So Sheila wife's brother's wife is Sheila. So how is Moni related to my wife? So Moni is the daughter of my wife's brother's wife. or my wife's brother, right? So the daughter of my wife's brother is the daughter of my brother. I mean, for all practical purposes. The wife of my wife's brother, yes. So she is my wife's brother's kid, right? So then she cannot be a cousin. You can just come up with the answer. I just have difficulty with relationships, so I eliminating them. Cannot be a cousin. How is Moni related? Must be niece. Cannot be a sister. What is sister-in-law? Yeah, so sister-in-law will be Sheila, and her daughter will be a niece, right? So this B is the correct answer. And this is relatively easy. I am having problems because I have problem with relations, like identifying relationships in general, but you get a rough idea. So all we did here was just list out the knowns, right, pictorially for easy understanding, and then we eliminated the options. I know it looks like a long process, but once you start practicing, you can cut down the time significantly. And I mean, logic is an easy scoring portion. I don't think it should be much of a problem once you get a grasp of it. Especially if you follow this method, I don't think logic is going to be a problem. So these questions are directly from like the inductive and deductive reasoning exercises. Let's just do this one. So all vegetables have gravy. All right. All lunch has vegetable. Okay. So all vegetable has gravy. All lunch has vegetables. Okay. So there's one thing we need to understand here. So when this is slightly different from saying, so L being equal to V does not mean V is equal to L. So for instance, I say all, uh, actually it's like a Venn diagram problem, something like, right? So in this case, all V will be equal to L, but not all L will be equal to V. For instance, if I say all roses are flowers, yes. So all roses are flowers, but not all flowers are roses. You get the idea. So it's like a one-way relationship. So I should probably represent this better. So all vegetables have gravy, right? It says all lunches have vegetables, and here it says again all gravy has lunches. It's going well. Now let's. Oh, oh, I'm sorry. This was an option. Sorry. Yeah, so now we have option A, B, C, and D. So, I mean, this is very important, and because for A, we have all lunches has gravy. So all lunches have vegetables. All vegetables have gravy. So this is flowing right. So A is correct. Yes, so A is correct because this is flowing in the right direction, right? So you're saying all lunches have vegetables, all vegetables have gravy. So all lunches have vegetables, all vegetables have gravy, so all lunches have gravy. Alright, so now let's look at the all gravy has a lunch. Now this is this problem, right? So just because it's flowing this way, it does not mean that this is correct. Same with the rose example. Just because I'm saying all roses are flowers does not mean all flowers are roses. So same thing. All lunches have gravy does not mean all gravies are lunches, right? So gravies might be dinner, for instance. So this is incorrect. So C, both A and B is also incorrect. and D, none of the above is also incorrect. So your answer is A. So these things you just have to find out. I mean, so this thing is a very common logic problem, right? This is a very common problem that people face, but this is like an extension of deductive reasoning, that all dogs have two eyes, right? All dogs have two eyes. A tiger is a dog, so tiger has two eyes, right? So this is how it flows actually. Let me. So what you have is all dogs have two eyes. Tiger is a dog, so tiger has two eyes, right? But that does not mean everyone who has two eyes is a tiger. Is a Yeah, is tiger, or everyone who has two eyes is a dog. So this is what deductive reasoning is. So you are just using deductive reasoning, but you just understand it better if you see it in that form. So not every relationship you can just assume. You pictorially represent it and don't change the direction of the arrows. I mean, that's the best way to put it. Let's solve one last question. I'm not doing these mathematical questions because I really don't like them, and plus I think they are voodoo logic primarily because it's possible to find multiple answers to the same series. You just eliminate. In these, you just have to eliminate, right? Let's do one of these. So here the codes are: if only one follows is A, if only two follows it's B, if either one or two follows it's C, and if neither follows it's D. So let's just, alright. Statement. Oh, there's an answer also. Statement: Indian children are very talented but are instead weak in maths and science. Alright. Teaching and textbooks are not available in mother language. Okay. Education based on experiments in both subjects are lacking. Is lacking. The question contains one statement and two courses of action, assuming the statement to be decide which course of action most logically follows. So the statement is Indian children are very talented but are instead weak in maths and in science and mathematics. Okay. So teaching and textbooks are not available in mother language. I don't know how they follow this from this. Education based on experiment in both subjects is lacking. I don't understand these questions. I may have solved them in my time, but I'm guessing I didn't score very well in them. Or the answers are wrong. I think the answers are wrong. Yes, the answers are wrong. These are wrong answers. Should not. The answers given somewhere else here. Answers. Let's try solving this. I don't think those answers which are given here are correct. Let's try solving this. So Indian students are very talented but are instead weak in science and math. So what do we know? The knowns are talented, right? Weak in maths and science, right? So now let's see at the conclusion. So this is conclusion 1, conclusion 2. We have to find out which conclusion follows, right? So conclude: teaching and textbooks are not available in mother language. How does this follow, right? Just think about it. They are very talented, but they are weak in maths and science, right? There can be multiple reasons for it, right? Like it can be, one of the reasons can be this, but this is not definite. Like you cannot say for sure no textbook is available in mother tongue, right? So this is not sure. There can be multiple reasons. Something like our maths is outdated, or we have old textbooks, or no one wants to study maths, or whatever, or we are learning Vedic maths instead of the technical mathematics which Western world accepts, whatever be the reason. So C1 does not follow. I mean, whatever. The first statement does not follow. Let's look at the second statement. These statements are conclusion, and this is the known. So you have to see if from the known you can reach the conclusion. So try to apply deductive or inductive reasoning, and I am pretty sure you cannot reach this conclusion. So now let's go. Education based on experiment in both subjects is lacking. Now again, you cannot say that. It may be one issue, but you cannot say that maths and science, that's the reason. And what are even experiments in maths, right? But that is not very relevant. The factual correctness of the statement is not very relevant. I mean, fine, it's relevant for eliminating in these, but in general life, you should rather see if it's flowing. So both these may be the reason, right? Both these may be the reason, but you cannot say for sure. So I'd go with answer D. And I'm pretty sure that's the correct answer. This person has marked it wrong and made the video a little difficult for me. Alright, so should we do one last makeup question for this question? Yeah, let's do one last makeup question. Let's do this question, right? Question 125. Pointing to a woman in the picture. So first person, the person you're talking about is a woman. Alright. In the photo, at the photo, Rajesh says, the only daughter of my grandfather, of her grandfather, is my wife. Right. So the only her grandfather. So let the woman, okay, let the woman be W. Her grandfather, let her be G. Let him be G. Grandfather, fine, GF. The only daughter of her grandfather is my wife. So his daughter. So one step above. So every step is like a generation. So his only daughter, no sisters, right? So only daughter is Rajesh's wife equals to his daughter. So he's her grandfather. So obviously the daughter is her mother. So Rajesh is her father. So the option B is the correct one. So you see how pictorially representing it in this sort of like a hierarchical flow chart where each stage represents a generation makes it so easy. So if I instead, so this will make it just woman is right, so wife to avoid confusion. But instead, if I had just gone ahead and here written woman and daughter and grandfather and Rajesh, so it'll be a little difficult to solve. So you should always represent it pictorially in a structure, and don't start solving the question first. Just list knowns. So here I listed the knowns, then I saw the picture and I said, okay, Rajesh's wife is his daughter, so these are equal, right? These are equal, and obviously since she's the only daughter, so she has to be her mother, so Rajesh becomes automatically becomes her father. All right, that's it for this video. Thank you.